Welcome to Get Moving TV. I'm Dr. Chris Landon. I serve as your host. Today, we're going to explore what's available to Ventura. We have someone who's been in this community doing a lot of things, and I'm so happy that last time I saw her, I was passed out on her couch. Was a show that we were doing together on resuscitation.
No, we weren't.
Today, we have Suz Montgomery with us. So, Suz, welcome to my show for a change.
Yeah, in fact, you launched your show off of ours. That was when you passed out on my couch.
Yep, that's
another whole story. Well, thanks for having me. This is a kind of an unusual situation for me.
Well, I thought you'd like that. So you've been a part of our community for how long now?
Moved here in '81 from the San Fernando Valley, Sherman Oaks to be exact, and didn't know where I was living. At the time I was married to the husband that died, so I got to go through this whole story here, but he moved us here. I thought he said we were moving to Ventura to get a beach house, and indeed it was a residence, so what a surprise. We moved here and I knew no one. So it took me a little while to acclimate, about 6 months, and I drove all the streets until I knew where I was going. And now you couldn't get me out of here with a bomb. I love my community.
Well, you've done a lot of things for Ventura since 1981.
Yep.
How did you start out? How did you get involved in the community? Because we really want our community involved here.
And you want the short version?
No, you have an interest on aging. Let's just, we'll start there.
I think probably my career in community involvement or advocacy started probably in 3rd grade. I went to Catholic schools for 12 years. In 3rd grade, all the bullies, older children, were beating me up on the smaller children. So I thought it was my civic duty to get in there and beat the crap out of the older kids, which I started to do. Of course, I went home bloody noses. My poor mother, is wringing her hands. What are we going to do? I end up in detention. But I established my goal or my mission early in life. It was kind of like advocacy, but a lot of community involvement. I was on student councils. I did all the stuff that the kids probably in the 50s didn't do in the 60s. I mean, I was kind of unusual in the respect that I was a female. Mostly it was the guys. But I came from a family of all brothers, so it was kind of like a natural situation for me to go in there and be an advocate or maybe an activist. Been doing it ever since.
I know you're Chicago Italian, so hopefully
Absolutely,
nobody's
proud.
horse's head ended up in anybody's bed there.
Go
in 3rd
Rahm
grade.
Emanuel.
So nowadays, what are you doing for our community right now?
Oh my
we
God,
only have
I don't even
15
know where to
minutes.
start.
So.
Okay, you only got 15 minutes, I'll make you, this is the short version. I'm passionate, as you said, about my seniors. Advocacy for seniors, making sure that they get their needs met, which I don't feel like they are. And that's nationally, not just, Ventura County or the city of Ventura. I really don't think we treat our seniors with the respect that they deserve to have. I teach them full-time through adult ed. I've been doing this for 11, 12 years. They are my passion, they are my life. I take them home, I get involved in their families, I become adjunct family. And I do it because a lot of them, if you're living in a SNF, a nursing facility, a lot of people drop off their parents at this age to a SNF and they think either A, they're going to be well taken care of and they don't want to interfere with staff, or B, they're so beaten up and worn out for taking care of that parent before they got there, they become disengaged. Well, to me, that's not acceptable. So I have my students take charge and they are allowed, we write our obituaries. Actually, my classes are very entertaining. My classes are done for learning, yes, but also for memory. And a lot of them are designed around regaining and retraining memory. And I think it's very much a part of their lives. They had full, rich lives before I had them, and they've got great stories. But also I do a lot of revisionist history because I'm a history buff and a minor politician type, so I like to get involved in that aspect. I brought a lot of people into our facilities from the outside world, the community, to come in and speak, like you were talking about Dr. Tom Duncan. Mm-hmm. He came in and gave us a presentation on balance. But I think we don't really, like I said to begin with, we don't give our seniors what they deserve to have. My current mission, if you want to call it that, is to get public transportation for the city of Ventura for disabled and seniors. Real public transportation, not something that runs every 15 minutes or, or 15 hours. Real public transportation that really, really works, that's affordable and reliable. So that's my current mission.
What percent of Ventura is composed of seniors? I mean,
27 to 29%.
That's a lot
That's
of...
you and me.
Well, yeah, I know. No dirt today. That's all I check for in the morning. So
Yeah, check your watch.
we're okay.
But I think that's a big issue when you're seeing, and exponentially, you're talking about the world, but you're talking about the United States too. I mean, healthcare, and that's your field. And you see the population growing. We're living longer with medical technology and breakthroughs. We're going to be the longest, baby boomers, the longest, oldest living population, and we're going to be very demanding. We're not going to get what we deserve to have unless we ask for it. And you need people like myself and yourself that are advocates for this population. And to get out there and actually do something outside of wringing your hands and going, gee, I wish we had this, we want that. No, you actually have to get your boots on the ground and do something about it. So it's a pretty big population.
Well, there's the Area Agency on Aging.
Which is the county, which is you guys. It's the Area Agency on Aging, which is Victoria Jump, who's on my Extended Learning Academy nonprofit board that I have, which is classes and programs for seniors that we do as a service for the public. They're very low-cost classes, all areas of interest, non-accredited, so you can go in there and learn how to write your story of your life, or you can go in there and do maybe scrapbooking or something like that.
Well, do you need funds for this?
Absolutely. We are totally supported by community and also by grants that we write. And that's kind of limiting because we don't charge much for our classes, so we're totally dependent on our community to support us. And that's the way I set it up. I wanted it affordable. I did not want to make it so onerous that the average senior could not attend a class. They need socialization more than they need anything else. The class is just an added benefit.
You've had your own struggles with health over the years.
You want me to whip it off?
Sure.
This is a first. I haven't taken I usually wear the do-rag on my head when I'm teaching classes, but I was diagnosed with breast cancer in June of this year and went double mastectomy. I'm now currently going through chemo, which you don't want to ever go through chemo. Believe me, if you survive chemo, you'll live. I think that's the thing, and I think that's the benchmark for that. So I'm going through some real struggles with that, but I'm almost done with the first round of really nasty stuff, and then I'll progress into an easier chemo for 13 more weeks. But it's really made me much more aware and wise to what people struggle with the cancer when they're dealing with that. It's not just the physical issues, it's the emotional issues, and the emotional issues are big. And I was looking at a TED Talks last night on YouTube, and there's 6 different areas where chemo affects you. I hit every single one of them. So by going through this, it's made me much more compassionate, and not that I wasn't before, but compassionate to people with cancer. I look at people differently. You taste your food differently. Everything is different with chemo. I mean, it really is nasty stuff. And like I said, if you can survive chemo, you'll be okay. So my thing is to take off the do-rag this week and finally let people see me bald. I don't have such a bad looking head. But it's kind of weird when you lose your hair. And thank God I was never wedded to it that much, but it's kind of a weird effect. You feel different. And you get stared at, and people don't want to ask you, but they kind of shy away. And then there's the people that don't want to acknowledge you have it at all.
So, and what do you do for support now that you know you need it? What
Well,
kind of resources
I'm like
do we have for you?
Yeah, I'm very fortunate. I have a really wide network of loving, concerned, compassionate friends. I've got a great family that supports me. I'm the typical Italian where I have everybody come home that are family every Sunday for dinner. And it's a screaming match, yeah, and there's a lot of food. But they're really supportive. They're there. I mean, I cannot tell you the people that surprised me that came forward to be there for me. And the other ones that I expected to, bailed out. So I think that's just human nature, but I'm really, really lucky. I think I'm very fortunate to live in the city of Ventura and Ventura County to actually have that kind of a support network. It's good.
So we really want to provide family to our aging too, and their emotional support. So tell us a little bit more about some of your programs and your oldest person over there at the townhouse.
Well, I'm not at the townhouse anymore. They changed hands 2 years
Yeah.
ago, but I was at the townhouse for 10 years. But I'm at their companion site, which is this nursing facility, skilled nursing next door. I've been there for 11 years. And then I'm also at the Californian, which is on Loma Vista, another nursing facility. I get very engaged with my students. I'm a very hands-on teacher. So, for example, Tuesdays, I bring my former food professional background in, and I teach a real culinary class that is probably graduate level. I mean, tomorrow we're doing truffles. I mean, where are you going to get truffles in the city of Ventura? My classroom. And these classes by the way, are open to the public. It's just not residents that come in there or rehab people. So I do food classes. The programs that we have within the Learning Academy is culinary classes. Just about anything that anyone has an interest for, and I'm always looking for new teachers that want to teach something. And we sit down, we make it advantageous for the teacher to make some money, but also our students to have the advantage of learning more, or extended learning. And extended learning never stops. I mean, extended learning is the rest of your life.
So how does someone from the outside get involved there? We know we want to donate.
You want to see our class? Or donate to us? I'd love to have you donate. But we'll, at the end of your show,
yes,
we're going to put at the bottom a little banner about how they get a hold of us. We have a website. It has all our classes listed there, and we're always looking at more. We're 2 different sites. We partnered with the City of Ventura. We're at the Avenue Adult Center on the Avenue, and also St. Paul's Church on Loma Vista. So you can see the complement of classes we have of interest. And if you have an interest, let me know that. And there's a phone number you can call, and real life person answers, that's me. And I have a great board. I only have 7 people on my board, but they're top notch. And I've handpicked them because of their level of interest and how they care for our seniors. And so it's simply get a hold of me.
So where do you see yourself over the next year?
Still working. I'm teaching now.
Your political maelstrom.
My political?
I was trying. Yes.
You
so
want
politically, we are all going to have personal transportation. I understand that.
Well, we're going to have transportation for our seniors that's affordable and reliable. I want to tackle other issues of seniors that most people are not looking at, to get them engaged. I want to find seniors and place them on every city board or commission I can find, so there's a voice of a senior on every board that's actually adding to. So I see myself getting a lot more involved in advocacy. I see myself getting a lot more involved in programming. I really think that with the numbers growing as fast as they are, we're going to need this. And why should we be now looking at like the end? This should be the beginning. So when you retire, it's another whole chance to do something different and learn. And I will be able to develop and promote and give you the classes so you can continue to learn until you take your final breath.
So what are some of the other things that the area agency on aging do? Because a lot of us have elder parents. I went through all this with my parents and my wife and all that. In terms of resources, all of a sudden you're thrust into it. And you don't know what number to call.
Oh, that's a great question, especially when you're talking about AAA, which is the area, or quadruple A, Area Agency on Aging, which is an arm of the county, and that's Victoria Jump. It's a maze. And this is something I want to streamline too. We're working with Vicki over at the county. I'm actually working with her on this new area, which is going to be a combined resource, one number you can call to get referral basis. For example, if you had, an elderly parent and they were looking to going into a nursing facility, how do you evaluate those? I mean, how do you know which is a good one, which is a bad one? And also, ELA, Extended Learning Academy, can give you a qualified list and tell you, or at least point you in the right direction, what to look for, what not to accept. And there's so many choices. And there are agencies out there, and AAA is a very good agency to actually give you some kind of information on clearinghouse. But it's a maze. And none of us are equipped to deal with this because nobody wants to accept the fact that it's mortality and we're dying. That's a hard one. And saying the word dying or death is really anathema to people our age because we're so vital and still engaged in working and living. But when you have a senior or your parent, you're faced with this, and it hits you like a brick wall. Where do you go? So Area on Aging would be a resource. The Extended Learning Academy, because I'm always available to talk on phone. I'm accessible. I'm all over town, so never hesitate to even call me. The number's going to be on your screen, so I'll be more than happy to help people. It's just what I do.
Well, Suz, thank you so much for doing what it is that you do.
Thanks for interviewing me. I never get interviewed.
It's about time. All right, so Ventura, we're going to be right back, but Agency on Aging, Extended Learning Academy, and time to donate.